Hello, it's Rani Yoga Devi coming to you from my home in Leamington. And I'm just popping on here to discuss something that uh, I'm hearing people talking about an awful lot lately, and that is Ascension. Well, my generation has been speaking about Ascension since the 80s. And what Ascension is, essentially, hasn't changed very much. It's just the language that we're using to talk about it and the immediacy that people seem to think is there right now. People seem to think that um, they are somehow superior to others in terms of where they fit on that ascension. But guess what? If there is any ascension whatsoever, it's not another human being who's going to decide who ascends and who stays here on the planet, even if that were the case, which I don't think that it is. I think it's really just a matter of consciousness. If you are of higher consciousness, if you truly are of higher consciousness, you are going to attract people who are into healing, who are calm most of the time, but get angry about things that aren't right in our society, like what's happening in Palestine. Well, who could get behind a massacre of an entire people and say that that's okay and believe that they're spiritual people? Well, I don't know. I would think that that is the definition of delusional, frankly. So, that being said, if we're going to talk about ascension, we have to think about um, frequency of energies, because it's really about frequency and consciousness together. If you are conscious, you are aware that you are operating at a high frequency vibration or a low frequency vibration. And sometimes you might want to go out and see a band and dance around, and that frequency might be lower in vibration than when you're going to sing at church or synagogue. you know, it, there's nothing wrong with it. It's when that music that you're appreciating takes your vibration down to a low level that becomes evil, then it's a problem. But we don't go down there. We're dancing around to popular music, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you're dancing around to demonic music, well, there is a problem with that. But if that's your lifestyle, that's your lifestyle. Far be it for me to tell anybody what to do or what type of music to listen to. But in my perspective, I prefer to listen to music that is uplifting and fun and has good energy to it. Nice drums, nice sounds, nice vocals, nice lyrics. I think that it's just nicer to listen to things that are nice. And it's nicer to experience good vibration, good energies, than it is to experience not so good energies. Not so good energies tell you you're in the wrong place. So if you're feeling not good energy, you're not in the right place. You're not around the right people. It's really as simple as that. You really have to find yourself in a place where you are around people whose energies and whose thoughts and whose direction in life might be similar to yours. It's harder to find people who are on the same resonance with you than it used to be before all of this COVID stuff. Because when everything shut down, people stopped getting together with the people that they did get together with. And many of us even moved. So we're needing to rebuild friendships and communities and all that sort of stuff. Rebuild everything from getting new doctors to going to new places. And it's fine, but it is a difficult challenge for many. And I can't put a word on it. I really can't put a word on what I'm feeling in terms of this whole idea of ascension being something only for some people and not for others. It's for my group and not the other group, which is insane because only the divine can decide whether what we have done is worthy of ascension or not, because everything is judged. Everything positive we do, everything negative we do, every single action in our lives becomes a part of our Akashic records in this life, in previous lives as well, all combined. So we are only aware of this life that we've lived, and we're not aware of previous lives where we might not have been such a great person and are here put in a situation that we're in to become a better person with a better mother or a better father or living in a better environment. We don't know. So don't judge others because you don't know your own past life. So you don't know another person's current life, past life, or anything. So none of us should be judging anybody else. What we should be doing is focusing on this life that we came to live. That's not just my opinion, but it's something that a lot of people just haven't even considered. So that's why I'm putting it out there. High frequency energies are really familiar to those of us who have done some sort of healing work, some sort of teaching of something like yoga, meditation. Because when we do healing work, we open ourselves up to other people's energies, other people's thoughts, other people's vibrations, and other people's ideas, opinions, and we start talking to people about those ideas, their feelings, our thoughts, and how they integrate, and how they're unique but yet similar in a lot of ways. And, you know, the main thing is that we can affect our vibration out there, even when things are a little chaotic. The most important thing that we can do is to ground ourselves through simple practices like pranayama. Deep breathing exercises can make a very big difference in how we think and how we feel. And grounding in nature, going out in nature, is a beautiful thing, but something that in my part of the world you can't do all year round and go out unless you've got many layers of clothes on. This time of year I love because I can go outside with my Birkenstocks on, a pair of tights or a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and go out and feel comfortable. Whereas 2 or 3 months from now, I'll have to put on a pair of socks and boots, long johns, and then another pair of pants over that, a sweater, and a jacket, and a coat over top of that, and a scarf, and a hat, and maybe even a hood, just to be able to walk down the street, go take a bus, or just to go for a walk. So if you live in this part of the world, you understand. But many people in hot countries don't understand what that's like to be in a cold climate, and they think that it's a good thing, and it is, because it's a balance. What's been happening the last few years is we have not been getting the winters that we are supposed to be getting. Apparently this year we're going to get a real good wallop of a winter, and that's good because we're returning to the actual cycle that we're supposed to have. But yet, we're still going to kvetch about it a little bit because we don't like the aftermath of the snow when it freezes or goes to slush and then freezes, and then it's difficult to get around because of all of that inconvenience. But at the same time, we know that that is what our area needs, is a good old winter. If you don't have enough of a winter, all sorts of bugs that should die and then have another generation come about next year aren't dying, and they're living right through the winter, and it's throwing everything out of balance because there are too many of certain types of bugs. Just for example, I'm not going to get into the whole science of what's happening, because you can research that all by yourself if you're really interested. So breathing, grounding in nature, exercise, practicing yoga, meditation, less overthinking, and just a little bit more of just relaxing into yourself. Maybe reading a good book, taking your mind off of the overthinking, more listening to fun music, going out, dancing, and if you're tired, take naps. Because what has been happening with the change in the energies, a lot of people are feeling tired, but instead of doing something like meditating, and by the way, if you meditate for 20 minutes, you've recovered about an hour of lost sleep. So if you didn't get enough sleep, a 20-minute meditation is not going to get you back your sleep, but it's certainly going to give you more energy and help you get through your day. Meditation is really, really important for mindset. It's important for the balance of the brain. It's important to balance out that sleep rest cycle, because if you're off, if you go to bed late and then you wake up late, then your body is out of sync a little bit. It means that you kind of are off your circadian rhythm, because naturally we should get up fairly naturally when the sun comes up, and we're at that time where the days are starting to get a little bit shorter because it's fall. And so as the days get shorter, you're getting up a little bit later, a little bit later, a little bit later if you get up with the sun. It's lovely now, but when it starts to become a problem is when they change the time an hour, and all of a sudden you're getting up in the dark unless you get up really early. That is unnatural, and that's something that they do in the United States, and they do it in Canada because they do it in the United States because for some reason Canada has to do all the same crazy things the United States does, and it no longer makes any sense. One point in time it made sense for the markets, but it doesn't anymore. So I think we should stop it, because it just doesn't make any sense. So what else did I want to talk to you about? I think I've pretty much got it all. Left, right, brain. Balance is important. Stay conscious. Keep your window of the soul open. Let the light in. No matter what's going on, darkness is the opposite of light. Don't give in to the fear-mongering that is out there, and don't give in to the people who want to hate others and want to just project negative energy onto others, whether it's a collective group or just one person. I was online today, and someone had put on a post, and it was similar to this topic of Ascension, and what the lady had to say was good, and I made a comment, and another lady started judging this person for something that they had done in the past. And I said, well, maybe it's time that you moved on from that. I see that you're still attached to that negative thing that happened in the past. Maybe it's time that you move on from that. And that person is still writing messages to to affirm their position. And boy, I think that's a lot of negative. Like, I've moved on, and she's still, as I was, videoing this, I saw my phone pop up with messages from her, and I feel so sad for people like that who have never learned to either forgive or move on. And if you can't forgive the other person, forgive yourself for buying into whatever it is that wasn't healthy for you, and move on. Life is for you to enjoy. Life is for you to learn from. Life is not for you to grieve over the past. Situations that happened in the past. Yes, once in a while you might remember something that did give you a source of grief at one point in time, but you mustn't hold on to those things. If you do, you've not moved past them. And so maybe we're working through things at a certain level. When something comes up that bothers you, that used to bother you in the past, and whoa, what's going on? Why am I thinking about that? Because that's not something that should bother me anymore. I've moved past that. Well, obviously on some level, that old you, that little you, that person who overreacted to that thing or had a very solid reason for reacting the way you did is now reacting on that again, because the world around you is telling you maybe it's time to grow past that. So we've all got things that we need to grow past. But for most of us, it's simple. Forgiveness of ourselves, or forgiveness of another, or simply letting go. Because if it isn't your problem, why make it your problem? And I find that at this point in time, it's very important to be very wary of the social media that you consume and how you respond to it. There's nothing wrong with social media, but there's a lot wrong with living your life according to somebody else's social media. Because it's wonderful that people watch my videos, but I don't want somebody living their life according to what I say. What I would like for people to do is give some thought to what I have to say, and see if it applies in their own life, and see if similar things are coming up for them. That's it. If you want to respond and write me and all of that, that's fine too. You may agree, you may disagree, and that's okay. It's just something that has occurred to me, that, this ascension that we were talking about in the 80s is kind of upon us now. Everybody is talking about what might happen if the world ends tomorrow. Boom. Would your soul be ready? I don't know. I think so. I've done my best to be a good person. But do I know? No. And I think that's why people have some fear, some trepidation, because we don't know it all. And we need to start admitting it, that, you know what? I'm just one little human being on this planet. And I know a little bit. You know a little bit. Your mom, your dad, your cousin, your friends, your whatever. Everybody knows a little bit. And that's the whole point of the world. We're all here together on a journey, learning together. The minute you start lording over other people and not listening to what they have to say, or going on a post and speaking to who that person used to be, isn't serving you. You're taking yourself back into the past. Let's try as much as we can to live in the present moment. And I don't know if everybody has really tried to do that before. But living in the present moment means being here, now,